해석보다 여러분들만의 해석이 너무 궁금하고 저는 그거 보고 즐기는 스타일이어서 그런지 여러분들한테 맡기겠습니다.
Well, okay then. Challenge accepted. Bang Chan's solo song is called Railway, and what is it about? Well, we don't really know for sure. So this is my personal analysis on what Railway is really about. Is it about a train? Is it about a train track? Is it about a train conductor? Does it have anything to do with trains at all? Well, we're gonna find out. So, what can the lyrics of Railway tell us about the actual meaning of the song? In my personal opinion, the lyrics to me make it seem as though the song is definitely not about trains, but instead is using trains as a sort of metaphor for the actual meaning of the song or the actual story, which is a bad relationship. And I say a bad relationship because it seems as though this relationship is kind of causing tunnel vision, as the song says in the beginning, in the opening. And that means that the person in this bad relationship is kind of focusing solely on this one person and ignoring everything else in their life, which is leading to some repercussions and potentially some bad outcomes. In the song, it says, yeah, this train never sleeps. Brace yourself, take a seat. Don't you care about the casualties? Because it's safe and it's just you and me. You and me. So this makes it seem as though this relationship obviously has some negative effects, which is represented through these casualties. And of course, an out of control train or a train that doesn't stop, doesn't sleep, can also be pretty dangerous, especially since later on in the song it says that this train has no brakes and that they don't need no brakes or something like that. Hold on, I can't find the specific lyric. Especially since later on in the song it says, need no brake, no brakes, this train, the engines go insane. So, as long as we head en route, fear is dead, no doubt. Baby, trust me now. So, again, I definitely feel like this plays into my idea that the train ride, and I guess the train in general, is supposed to be a representation of this relationship, which is probably not the best idea, especially since this train has no brakes. And he says in the song as well, we're staring at the ticket that says one trip. It's like, okay, so you're on a one trip train ride, but I'm not sure if that's supposed to signify the fact that the person in the song knows that the relationship is not going to work in the long run, and that's why it's a one-way ticket, or if it's supposed to represent that there's no going back. But either way, I definitely think there's significance in that line as well. I think everything in this song is important and is supposed to represent something, which is one of the reasons why I really wanted to try break it down and analyze. But to be honest, I'm just making this video for fun, so I'm trying not to look too far into the song. And also, at the end of the day, this is an artistic expression for Bang Chan and the other people who worked on this song, so I'm not trying to make it that serious in terms of like, oh, I have to know what the song actually means. Like I said, this is just for fun. But anyway, yeah, that's what I think this song is actually about. So yeah, and the reason I think it's a romantic relationship is because of the word choice that is used, such as baby, and it's only us but something saying more please. That to me feels very like flirtatious, if you know what I'm saying. And maybe that's just because Bang Chan kind of has a history with flirtatious songs that are supposed to be, you know, that he lies and says are about something else. Like, yeah, sure, Connected is about Wi-Fi. I totally believe you. I definitely think this is about a romantic relationship. Baby, I feel our heartbeats, shaking, trembling, rough ride, hold on tight. yeah, to me, that just definitely seems to be a romantic relationship that's being spoken about, but I could be wrong. What about the music video for Railway? Does this match my personal analysis for the lyrics? Well, I think so. Yeah, I think it works. In the music video, Bang Chan is kind of a vampire lord. He is giving out his blood to create army for himself, and he is more proactive in the fact that he is definitely the one causing the casualties. The casualties thereby being the people that he's giving blood to and beating up and killing. Whereas in the song, no, it's not necessarily like it's implied that he has a hand in the casualties, but in the music video, it is definitely his fault, like single handedly, no offense to him. It's Vampire Chan's fault. So I definitely think that that's pretty obvious to me personally. But also in the music video, there is like a poster thing written down. The evil deeds committed always returns to the person who committed it. So I also think this plays into the idea of Bang Chan basically, or I don't know, the vampire that he's playing, basically being somebody who's wreaking havoc and chaos and doing evil deeds such as, you know, hurting all these other people. But the fact that it says the evil deeds will return to the person who committed it seems to say or suggest that it will come and find him again in the end. And we see that happen in the music video itself, where he essentially gets killed by a more pure version of himself. And things are about to get super pretentious right now, so just hold on tight and let's talk about it in this very pretentious way. So, what exactly does this represent? There being two Bang Chans, one in a dark outfit, one in a light outfit. One is a vampire lord who's wreaking havoc and killing people. The other person, the other Chan, is more of a pure soul who has had enough of this and decides to kill the other Bang Chan with a shovel and like bury him, I guess. I don't know. Basically, in my personal opinion, this is supposed to suggest the fact, or I guess represent the fact that Bang Chan has to basically stand up to himself and put himself into check, and the evil deeds done unto himself the is the punishment delivered by himself to himself, if that makes any sense. And I think that is also pretty powerful that it's his own self that I guess takes the Vampire Chan down, because to me it's supposed to reflect the fact that he realizes that he's doing something bad, so he decides to kill that part of himself that is doing these things that he doesn't condone or he doesn't want to do anymore. And at the end of the day, Bang Chan himself becomes a casualty of this relationship or this situation, whatever you want to consider it as being, because he has to pay for his sins, I guess, or his evil deeds. And, you know, he gets got in the end. So that's my personal interpretation of the music video. Is it right? I don't know. But that's my interpretation. My personal opinion, Bang Chan's performance of Railway has a lot of elements that I discussed from the lyrics and also the music video. And the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that he's wearing a suit when he performs, because in my personal opinion, this is supposed to kind of signify the fact that even though he's in a bad situation, he's trying to cover it up. And the reason I think that it's trying to be like covered up is because at the end of the performance, Bang Chan actually ends up taking his suit jacket off to reveal something either written on his back or some sort of like pattern or marking on his back, which kind of shows that he has been hiding something with his suit jacket. He's been sort of like struggling with something, but he was hiding it to try to look more presentable. At least that's personally how I read it. Am I getting too pretentious again? Honestly, probably, but that's fine. I also feel like it's important to note that in his performance for Railway, there's like a staircase behind him with a bunch of people laid over the different stairs, like they're sort of like unconscious or something. And to me, they're supposed to represent the casualties that Bang Chan sings about in the song, and the casualties that I also feel like were present in the music video. And during his performance, Bang Chan largely ignores these people on the stairs and pretty much sings with his back facing them. And even at the end of the performance, when he climbs up the stairs, he pretty much doesn't give any thought to them either. But I think that this really plays into the idea that he has tunnel vision, because even though there's all these casualties behind him from this situation that he's taking a part in, he doesn't really care. He doesn't really even notice because he has tunnel vision and he's so invested in this relationship that it doesn't really matter to him that there are all these casualties. But like in the music video, Bang Chan ends up becoming a casualty himself, because in the performance, he ends up climbing the stairs, and at the top, that's when he takes his suit jacket off, and then he falls off the top of the stairs, which kind of signifies that like the train ride is over. And I feel like this is really important because, like I said, throughout the whole entire performance, he's kind of just chilling, to be honest. And he's wearing his jacket, he's wearing his, suit ensemble. And then all of a sudden, he starts climbing these stairs, takes off his jacket, and reveals to us that not everything was as it seemed. And then he falls off the top of the stairs. So, like I said, he pretty much becomes a casualty of the situation and comes to realize that even though maybe he looked put together and maybe he could ignore the casualties for a while, this was only a temporary solution because he had to hide certain things in order to stay in this situation, and he also had to ignore all these casualties. And in the end, he too, like I said, becomes a casualty of this relationship. So I think that this performance is pretty in line with my personal analysis of the song. So just to kind of wrap everything up, because I feel like I really spoke about a lot of different things, I'm just going to go over my personal analysis for Bang Chan's Railway, incorporating what I talked about when it comes to the lyrics, the music video, and the performance, and just kind of give my overall thoughts on it in this section altogether. So, as I said throughout this video, I really feel like this song is about a bad relationship or maybe a bad situation where Bang Chan is that's what he's singing about, and this relationship or the situation is causing him to be focused only on this situation, ignoring everything that is happening around him, even though it's leading to some pretty big consequences and casualties, if you will. And in the end, he basically realizes that he can't continue on this way because it's just asking too much from him and from the people around him. And he himself becomes a casualty in the end because, like I said, this situation was just too demanding. It kind of forced him to do things that maybe he wouldn't necessarily do on a regular basis, or maybe he did things that he isn't typically comfortable with doing. And like I said, in the end, he kind of becomes a casualty. And while this song most likely is not about trains or this train ride is a metaphor for this situation or this relationship, because it is pretty out of control and there's no brakes and there's no turning back though, however, because they've already boarded the train, so like you kind of just got to stick with it now. But because there's no brakes, I guess the only way for the train to stop is for it to crash, which potentially that's what leads to the casualty of Bang Chan in the song, the music video, and the performance. But either way, those are my concluding thoughts. And like I said, is any of this right? Is any of it accurate? I'm not sure. They're just my personal opinion. And I made this video for fun, so...
Tunnel vision got my eyes on you.